Here's your wrestling news for December 6, 2025. Your headlines for today include Survivor Series Masked Attacker reveal might be a massive WWE swerve, AJ Styles set to wrestle in TNA again after AMC partnership, John Cena breaks silence on Vince McMahon allegations and legacy, GUNTHER wins tournament, officially faces John Cena at Saturday night's main event, #WeWantLAKnight explodes. Solo Sikoa goes personal, exposes Uncle Howdy's identity on SmackDown. Big WWE reunion confirmed on SmackDown. Cody Rhodes gives massive opportunity to Ricky Saints and Femi, and more. During the Survivor Series men's War Games match, fans witnessed one of the night's biggest shocks when a masked wrestler climbed into the double cage and delivered a vicious curb stomp to CM Punk. Without revealing his identity, the figure slipped out of the cage moments later, leaving Punk incapacitated and giving Braun Breaker the opening he needed to score the decisive pinfall. While reports indicate that Austin Theory was the man under the mask at Survivor Series, WWE has not officially identified the attacker on television. And according to F4W Online, that decision may still be up in the air. The report states that while the final identity could change based on creative direction and ongoing negotiations with a major AEW star. According to the report, those early discussions involve none other than former WWE champion Chris Jericho. Jericho and WWE are said to be in the early stages of discussion, and if talks move forward and Y2J decides to return, WWE could choose to stretch the mystery into January. If that happens, Chris Jericho could ultimately be revealed as the Masked Man once his AEW contract expires in December 2025, immediately inserting him into a top-tier storyline in his comeback. If Jericho does return, the shock factor would be massive, and the potential promo exchanges between Punk and Jericho would easily become must-see television. However, there's one clear downside: Austin Theory, who reportedly filled the role originally, would once again get pushed aside in favor of a bigger name. Whether WWE can find a meaningful direction for Theory in the aftermath remains to be seen. Would you want Chris Jericho to be revealed as the masked attacker? Or should WWE stick with Austin Theory and finally give him the spotlight? Share your thoughts below. We want to hear your take. TNA Wrestling's upcoming move to AMC is already being seen as a major win for the company, and the shift may open the door for a one-night return from one of its biggest legends. With AJ Styles inching closer to his planned 2026 retirement, renewed attention is being placed on TNA's interest in bringing him back for one final appearance, a move that could deliver a major ratings boost if WWE signs off on it. According to F4W Online, a WWE source revealed that TNA are already in talks with WWE as they want Styles to wrestle for them again, possibly as part of their very first AMC broadcast. Given the significance of the debut and the need to make an immediate impact on a new network, Styles appearing, let alone wrestling, would be a huge statement. It would also reunite him with a roster that now features longtime friend Frankie Kazarian, who currently holds the TNA World Championship. Styles has shown some willingness to collaborate in recent months. The company allowed Styles to appear at Slammiversary on July 20th at UBS Arena, though they stopped short of approving an in-ring return. With TNA's AMC debut carrying far more importance, this situation may be viewed differently inside WWE. Styles has already confirmed that 2026 will be his final year as an active wrestler. He's repeated that he intends to retire before turning 50 and walk away on his own terms. His post-retirement vision includes the possibility of staying with WWE in a coaching or behind-the-scenes capacity, a role he said he would consider if both sides feel it's the right fit. As TNA prepares to launch a new era on AMC, the question now becomes whether WWE will allow the Phenomenal One to rewrite history one more time in the place that helped shape his career. What's your take on AJ Styles wrestling again for TNA, and should WWE allow him to do more with the company as he approaches retirement? Share your thoughts in the comments section. We want to hear from you. Enjoying the video? A quick like goes a long way in helping us grow and deliver more wrestling news you care about. John Cena spoke candidly about Vince McMahon's WWE departure during his appearance on the Joe Rogan Experience, offering one of his most balanced and thoughtful takes yet on a subject that continues to divide the wrestling world. While Cena fully acknowledged McMahon's immense influence on the industry, he made it equally clear that a historic legacy does not erase personal accountability. When Rogan asked about Vince's recent controversy and whether he is truly out of WWE, Cena confirmed it, but added important context instead of giving a simple yes or no answer. In my eyes, I'd like to think that time heals everything, and I believe in forgiveness. I also believe in looking at the body of work, but I also know there's a lot of fragile stuff going on there. I don't know, man. It's a hot subject. Cena went on to explain how his own growth has shaped the way he handles situations where respect and controversy collide. I've learned to become a little bit more accountable for what I say, and just because I feel a certain way about a person doesn't exonerate them from being accountable for their actions. Just because he did start, quote-unquote, all this gangster shit, that doesn't mean he doesn't need to be accountable for his actions. When Cena mentioned the gangster line, he was referencing McMahon's role in building WWE into what it is today. The phrase itself came from comedian and WWE superfan Tony Hinchcliffe, who appeared on the podcast alongside Cena and Rogan. Cena echoed one of Hinchcliffe's points as well, saying, "I'm me because of him," when talking about McMahon and the impact he's had on his career and the wrestling business as a whole. He emphasized that forgiveness and moving forward are possible, but not without clarity and responsibility. Let's figure out what that means, and then figure out if we can move forward and bring that back into the fold, or if it stays the way it is. Cena didn't condemn Vince McMahon, nor did he excuse anything. Instead, he walked a measured line, acknowledging the man who helped build WWE into a global force, while also insisting that accountability must come before reconciliation. It's a nuanced stance, delivered with the same calm poise that has defined Cena's career both inside and outside the ring. How do you feel about Cena's perspective on Vince McMahon? Share your thoughts in the comments below. The main event of this week's show saw LA Knight take on GUNTHER for the right to face John Cena in his final match at Saturday night's main event. Knight came out swinging, catching GUNTHER off guard and knocking the ring general out of the ring in the opening minutes. As the match settled in, the momentum shifted back and forth, with both men delivering heavy offense. They were given the final 20 minutes of the broadcast, allowing enough room to build a strong match while still selling the physical toll. It turned out to be one of Knight's best performances in recent months, and yet another standout outing in GUNTHER's growing catalog of top-tier matches. Even though the outcome felt predictable on paper, they found ways to create genuine suspense. Knight even connected with his finisher, but GUNTHER managed to survive by getting his foot on the bottom rope. When the match hit its final stretch, GUNTHER locked in a submission, and after a hard-fought battle, Knight was forced to tap out. It was the strongest match of the entire tournament, exactly what the finals needed to be. But while GUNTHER celebrated a major victory, the WWE Universe had a very different reaction. Fans erupted online almost immediately. The hashtag WeWantLAKnight began trending on Twitter before the match even ended and continued well after the show went off the air. Many viewers once again voiced frustration over LA Knight's booking and directed their criticism toward Triple H for not capitalizing on Knight's popularity. This isn't a new sentiment either. Back in June 2023, the same hashtag trended multiple times as fans pushed for WWE to give Knight a bigger spotlight. Between the crowd reactions, merchandise numbers, and consistently strong promos, many felt he deserved more than what he was getting, and those frustrations have resurfaced in full force. What about you? Did WWE make the right call by choosing GUNTHER, or should LA Knight have been the one to face John Cena in his final match? Drop your reaction below. We want to hear where you stand. Solo Sikoa responded to last week's attack by the Wyatt Six and had some choice words for Uncle Howdy in particular. For the first time since Bray Wyatt's passing, WWE allowed his legacy to be invoked on television in a storyline context. During his promo, Solo pointed to the sky and delivered a chilling message. "Everything that was his, that's now yours, will become mine. I'm going to take everything away from you. I'm going to take away everything that you love, all the memories, and I'm going to show everyone in this world that you do not deserve the name Wyatt. I'm going to take it away because I can. Because all I have to do is leave." Shortly after, the Wyatt Six appeared. Uncle Howdy confronted Solo again, but this time, Sikoa wasn't alone. The MFTs stood at his side, and the standoff quickly erupted into a full-scale brawl between both factions. One moment that stood out was the face-to-face confrontation between Tala Tonga and Eric Rowan. WWE clearly planted the seeds for a future one-on-one showdown, and the crowd's approval was very evident. The Wyatt Six stood tall to end the segment, a much-needed moment of dominance as the feud deepens. Solo's promo provided the emotional anchor the storyline needed, instantly raising the stakes. The references to Bray Wyatt struck a chord with longtime fans, especially when Solo echoed Bo Dallas's signature catchphrase, "All I need to do is Bo leave." How do you see this story unfolding? Should WWE lean even deeper into the Bray Wyatt connection, or let the Wyatt Six forge their own legacy? Share your thoughts below. SmackDown opened with a full recap of the chaotic events from Survivor Series before the cameras cut to Drew McIntyre arriving at the arena. Moments later, Nick Aldis confronted him and reminded McIntyre that he was still suspended, ordering him to leave the building immediately. Before Drew could respond, Cody Rhodes stormed into the scene and attacked him from inside his truck, continuing their heated rivalry. McIntyre sped off, leaving Rhodes fuming. The American Nightmare then marched straight to the ring, grabbed a microphone, and demanded that Aldis reinstate McIntyre, not to help him, but so Rhodes could get his revenge for McIntyre invading his tour bus. Between the recap video, the backstage confrontation, and Rhodes' in-ring promo, the opening segment ran for about 10 minutes. It was just the right amount of time to re-establish the intensity of this feud without dragging it out. Rhodes delivered his anger convincingly, and McIntyre played his role perfectly in the quick backstage exchange. As an opener, it blended story progression with a burst of action, setting the tone for the rest of the show in a strong and effective way. WWE has officially announced that the Terror Twins, Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley, will reunite for a mixed tag team match against Aleister Black and Zelina Vega. It's a matchup that carries plenty of intrigue, especially given where all four competitors currently stand. On paper, Damian and Rhea don't necessarily need the victory. Both have established themselves as top-tier stars, and a loss here wouldn't damage their momentum. However, it would also not be surprising if WWE decides to give them the win simply because of their combined star power. That said, Aleister Black and Zelina Vega are the team that needs this moment far more. A major victory over Priest and Ripley would significantly elevate their standing and give the duo the boost they've been working toward. With the right finish, this could be a breakout performance for them and a chance to push their stock higher in WWE's current landscape. Ilja Dragunov's streak of open challenges for the United States Championship continued this week as he put the title on the line against Carmelo Hayes, but the tension for this match actually started long before the bell rang. Earlier in the night, during a backstage segment, Hayes referred to Tommaso Ciampa as a jackass. That comment didn't go unnoticed, and it came back to bite him. In the closing moments of the match, Ciampa ran out and tripped Hayes on the top rope while the referee was distracted. The interference gave Dragunov the opening he needed to hit his finisher and retain the championship. Once Dragunov realized what had happened, he shot Ciampa a crazed, furious look, the kind that makes it clear someone is about to pay. Later, backstage, Nick Aldis confirmed that Dragunov will face Ciampa next week on SmackDown. Alexa Bliss and Kairi Sane met in the second match of the night, continuing a feud that's been simmering ever since their rivalry over the women's tag team titles and their clash inside War Games last weekend. With that much history between them, the tension was already high before the bell even rang. At ringside, the Queen and the Empress couldn't keep their hands off each other as Asuka and Charlotte Flair got involved during the setup for Sane's insane elbow. Just when it looked like Sane had the match secured, Bliss sprang to her feet, snatched her out of mid-setup, and hit Sister Abigail out of nowhere to score the pin. But the celebration didn't last. Moments after the pinfall, Bliss and her partner were blindsided by Lash Legend and Nia Jax. The two powerhouses made it clear they're coming after the tag titles, adding yet another dangerous duo into the championship picture. The match itself was a solid, quick-paced bout that didn't drag, and the post-match attack only thickened the story. Legend and Jax may have stood side by side with Asuka and Sane inside War Games, but alliances don't last long when championship gold is on the line. Backstage, Ricky Saints and Oba Femi crossed paths ahead of their big NXT Championship match at Deadline tomorrow night. The tension was already high, but things escalated when Cody Rhodes stepped in with a major announcement. Rhodes revealed that whoever wins the NXT title match will go on to face him at Saturday night's main event. It's a massive development that instantly raises the stakes for both competitors. Not only will the winner leave Deadline as champion, but they'll immediately earn a high-profile showdown with Cody Rhodes on one of WWE's biggest stages. So now the question becomes, who walks out of Deadline with the NXT Championship? Is it Oba Femi continuing his dominant run, or Ricky Saints pulling off the biggest win of his career? Who do you think earns the match with Cody Rhodes? Share your predictions below. We want to hear your take. WWE has revealed the next match for Saturday night's main event, and it'll see Bayley go one-on-one with NXT's rising star, Sol Ruca. Bayley addressed the announcement on SmackDown, noting that she plans to watch Sol compete tomorrow at Deadline, which strongly suggests Bayley will be in the audience for the event. It's a big spotlight for Ruca and an intriguing matchup for Bayley, who seems determined to scout her opponent up close before stepping into the ring with her this weekend. And that wraps up this week's SmackDown. How did you feel about the show? Which segment stood out the most for you, and why? And what's your take on LA Knight's booking? Was the treatment justified, or did he deserve better? Share your thoughts below. We want to hear your reactions.